fossil hunters, welcome back. And we're here with Larry Tanenbaum, one of our old friends.
Hi guys.
And we have a new friend with us today. This is Bill Heim.
Hello.
And today we're going to look at Bill's collection, some of which we have here behind us. And so Larry and Bill are going to talk about sharks and some of his other collection pieces that we see here. So Bill, tell us how you became a fossil hunter, a fossil finder, and a fossil collector.
My best friend came back from Venice Beach in Florida. I was living in Maryland at the time, and he showed me some teeth he had obtained from Venice Beach. So we started making trips to Chesapeake Bay, and in fact this is the very first tooth that I ever found.
Aww. And what kind of tooth is that?
That's a Hemipristis. One of the workers said, well, why don't you go down to Chesapeake Beach? At the time I think we had found like 20 some odd teeth. And so we went down to Chesapeake Beach, and the first day we found like 600, and the second day we found like 800. And after that I never bothered to count anymore.
So while I love fossils and fossil hunting, Larry is really the shark guy, and he, I'm sure, has a lot of questions for you about
Oh,
shark.
yeah.
So I'm going to leave it to you, Larry. It's all you.
Thank you, April. So, Bill, of all of the shark species that you have here, do you have a favorite species, and why would it be your favorite?
That's an interesting question. Probably the longfin mako is one of my favorites. In fact, here, this is a jaw of longfin mako. This jaw I obtained in about the year 2000, but prior to that, it hung in a New Zealand pub since 1880.
Oh, wow. Is there a big difference between the long fin mako shark teeth and the short fin mako shark teeth that you have up there?
Not a big difference. There is a difference. The cutting edges of the front teeth on the long fin continue down to the root, and the short fin they do not. There's no cutting edge there.
Okay.
At the base. The other thing is the side teeth on the long fin are thinner. If you feel them between your fingers, they feel thinner than the teeth on the short fin.
Oh, cool. Very cool. I know from teaching kids that the most popular tooth out there is the megalodon, and I see you've got an amazing array of megalodon teeth here. What can you tell me about some of these teeth?
This tooth here was found from in a stone quarry north of Richmond, about 150 miles from the ocean now. There were like almost 40 whales pulled out of this quarry. Evidently it appears to be a tsunami event, and one of the things that got washed up with the whales was a megalodon.
Oh, that's really cool. So how about some of these other large ones that you got here?
This was from the Lee Creek mine in North Carolina, which unfortunately is now closed to collecting, as was this one. This one was found on the worst day of collecting in the mine possible. And this one probably comes, I've got this in an auction, this one probably came from the ledge off of North Carolina. What's called a ledge is about 110 feet deep where the divers go.
This is an amazingly large megalodon tooth. Can you tell me a little bit about that one and maybe the length?
That tooth is almost 7 inches. It's a little bit shy of 7 inches. I obtained it at an auction at the fossil fair for a more than reasonable price.
All right, so Bill, I'm looking at some of these teeth here. If you don't mind, I'm going to pick that up.
No.
And I'm noticing that this megalodon tooth has got some interesting wave action to it. So what would cause a feature like this?
Many times when megalodons get very old, or any sharks get very old, their teeth become pathologic. The jaws, the cartilage of the jaws become distorted, and then the teeth become pathologic.
Oh, that's really interesting. We got this one. So this would be the same idea?
Possibly. Another thing that occurs with pathology is damage to the jaw, which occurs a lot in things like great whites, megalodons, even Hemipristis. When they bite into like a bone, it damages the jaw, and then the teeth will then become pathologic.
Oh, cool. And we want all our viewers to know that these are now fossils. The original tooth, when it falls into sediment, over time the minerals will replace the original cell material of the tooth and harden it into basically a rock. So what we've got here are fossil rocks. And of course all these jaws are modern jaws, not fossilized.
That is correct. They're not fossils. They're modern jaws caught by fishermen and such.
So I noticed that all of the modern shark teeth look white, but the fossilized shark teeth are varied in color. So that kind of backs up what we were just talking about, correct?
The modern teeth are just like your teeth. They're composed of the same materials, and your teeth are white as well, and that's why they're white. The fossils, the minerals in the soils and stuff, change the colors.
What are some of the things that could have led to the extinction of the megalodon?
There was a large die-off in whales about the time that the megalodon went extinct. Many of the species just vanished, particularly some of the smaller whales they were hunting. So a lot of times you'll see that the smaller whales, this size whales, is what the megalodon was hunting rather than the huge whales. So there was a huge die-off at the same time. And also about the same time, the orcas began to evolve more and probably were in competition with them, the orcas being much smarter than a megalodon. And then also the great whites were about the same size as the juvenile megalodons and probably out competing them for the same food source.
I noticed besides the shark teeth, you also have a shark vertebrae here. How is it that shark vertebrae become fossilized like the teeth, but really no other parts of the shark do?
Sharks don't have true bones in their body. The closest thing to true bone in their body is the roots of their teeth. Everything else in their body is made of cartilage. The jaw here is made of cartilage. If you were to soak this in water, it becomes very flexible, just like your nose or your ear. The same thing, this is cartilage too as well, but the difference is this is hardened by calcium plates, so it becomes much harder and therefore occasionally preserves.
Okay, so we're lucky that we get more than just the teeth out of the sharks. Bill, I noticed that you've got a lot of shark teeth here stuck in matrix rock, the rock that would be on the ocean floor. So how does that happen? How does that come to be?
This kind of rock here is limestone. Limestone is secreted by small microscopic animals in the ocean. It hardens, it turns almost like into a cement. And then other stuff that falls into that cement like limestone then becomes incorporated into the rock itself.
So, if the shark tooth is in this matrix limestone rock, does that mean that the two of them are the same age?
Absolutely, the same age.
Another interesting feature is the notch in this whale bone. How could that have happened?
This is evidence of a predation by a megalodon. A megalodon bit into this bone. And if we take this large megalodon tooth, you'll see that it actually fits right into the slot.
Oh wow, that is really, really cool. Bill, I have to ask you, this is probably the coolest thing I've seen on your shelves today. What's the story behind this piece?
This comes from Bakersfield, California. This is a jaw of an animal and possibly some other bone here behind it, where it's been bitten by an ancestor of a great white shark. It bit into the bone, broke the bone, and shattered the tooth. So this is evidence of predation. Now, the shark probably swallowed this whole mess, and sharks periodically regurgitate stuff that they can't digest. So after he swallowed it, he probably regurgitated this whole thing, which incorporates other bones as well.
Wow, that is just amazing, and that is Mother Nature telling a story.
All right, so at the end of every segment, as fossil hunters always like to say,